Welcome, everyone. I'm here joined with Minister Macharia and Minister Maggie, and today we're here to celebrate our 10-year anniversary as Hepsiba. We're going to start all the way from year 0 all the way to year 10 and just talk about all the wonderful memories we've had. So welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, how are you guys feeling today?
I'm excited.
Yeah?
10 years.
10 years.
So excited.
Wow. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and start from year 0, okay? So, my first question to you guys is, and we'll start with Maggie. Why don't you tell us how you came into Hepsiba? What was your life like before and how you entered Hepsiba? And yeah, just give us kind of the story.
Absolutely. So I actually came to Hepsiba when I was 12 years old. I moved from Southern California. So I lived in a city called Pasadena. I wasn't around any Kenyans, any small churches. We went to a huge church, and then we moved here to Sacramento. We checked out a few churches before we came here, and it was a trek, because we lived about 30, 45 minutes away. But I loved it. We came, and I loved seeing the young people. I remember seeing Masha and a few people up on stage. I was like, wow, I like it here. And I think that's right before Hepsiba was starting. So I actually came like literally right before, as I was about to turn 13. So here I am 10 years later.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
13.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. How about you, Masha?
I was born in Hepsiba. I was raised in Hepsiba.
Born and raised.
I was helping like run a group called The Rock. So The Rock was I still remember. I think the acronym was The Rock stood for Redeemed of Christ Kingdom.
Oh, it was an acronym?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you guys were like established and grounded in the Rock.
No.
We didn't. Say it again. The Rock
Redeemed of Christ Kingdom Boys or something, or youth. I got in when immediately in 2011 when we were merging both of those groups. I was a junior in high school.
Wow.
There's actually a video. If you search on YouTube and you go back to House of Glory videos, there's a video of my shot and the boys.
Yeah, I think I've seen this.
Hey guys, we're here in the water.
I've seen
We're
this.
the Rock.
I've seen this. I have seen
Check
this.
it out.
I'm coming for you.
We will have to find that and show the people because I've seen the video. It's hilarious.
I was with my soccer ball.
Yeah.
Nothing has changed.
And Dennis was
Nothing.
swimming. I seen this
Nothing
video.
changed.
Yeah. Wow. Actually, for real. Nothing.
Same
Wow.
energy.
So you came and you moved here. You said you were born and raised. But what attracted you guys to Hepsiba? Like what made you say yes to the calling into Hepsiba? Like what made you just gravitate towards it? Because I mean, you've been here from year 0 to year 10. Like, you know what I mean? That's a long time. From teenage to adulthood. What made you guys say yes? I guess we can start with Masha this time.
Philip had a relentless pursuit when it came to like young people. And so he would do anything to be able to get to your heart. And I remember, like, for me, it was he simply honored like my service. You know, I enjoyed serving, and so a lot of my serving was overlooked. And I remember one day I was washing like everybody's car. I would do random stuff like that, and he is the only one who ever gave me money. Right, so he came and
Gotta love them. You know?
It wasn't even a lot, but he gave me $5 and he just said thank you. And I was just like, what kind of man is this? So that's kind of like how so he genuinely cared. And then for people who like loved shoes and stuff like that, like he would get them shoes. I know Philippa spent like over $10,000 just to like just to invest in people. So so I experienced that from an early age, and like he saw me and he acknowledged me, and that's kind of like how I got in and how I've stuck through and how I've remained. And that's my story.
So you were pulled in by the genuineness of Philip.
Absolutely.
And
So I
the
would say
team.
generosity.
Generosity.
And acknowledgement.
Word.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. We all need a Philip because
Yes, we
I
do.
like me some shoes. How about you, Maggie? What made you come to Hepsiba?
I promise I'm not trying to steal Masha's answers. We just have a lot of very similar experiences. But for me, the first thing was just the young people, the young energy, because like from a young age, I knew I wanted God and I wanted to know about God, but I wasn't, you go to Sunday school, you draw on the papers, or you sit in the big church and write on. I didn't even know that those envelopes were for tithe. I just drew on them, when I was back in SoCal. And so coming here and seeing like young people who look like me, right? I live with the white people. So coming down here to Rancho and just seeing, people who look like me, people who I could try to relate to was really awesome. And then actually I remember the conversation with Philip and him telling us, what Hepsiba is. It's about to get started. And just him taking a genuine interest in trying to find out like what I liked. He figured out I like to sing and, really tried to pour into me. Not even tried to, really poured into that and wanted to pull that gifting out of me.
If I'm not wrong, didn't he buy you like your first CD?
Man, he did. Jamie Grace.
Jamie Grace.
Yeah, he
Jamie
bought
Grace.
Yeah.
And I love the way you hold me.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And it just made me dream big. Like, you can be like Jamie Grace. You can do the music, like really invested in like even making a studio and so really poured into me from a young age, and that was different.
This is all year one, year zero.
Yes,
Year 0,
from
yeah.
jump, from the very beginning. Yeah.
Next question, cause wow. Okay. Let me keep going. Okay. So what would you guys say in all your 10 years, what was your most favorite and least favorite memory in Hepsiba? So guys, just feel
Ladies
free.
First. Take
Yeah,
it
we
away.
want to know, what was your intent? That's a long time to do life with people. And
See, because it's such a long time, it's difficult to pinpoint just one, right? It's very difficult to pinpoint one, but we had something called youth camp that was super consistent from year to year. I loved going to youth camp. We would gather every summer for, I think it started out maybe like 3 days, and eventually we started going for maybe up to a week. And so it was really awesome because you get to leave the house. I don't have to go home, do dishes, wake, I thought I could get away from waking up early, but we didn't. We still woke up early. Thank you, Philip, and everyone who was in agreement with that.
amen.
But yeah, it was a really great time just to be able to, be with these people that you love to be around on a weekend, and now you get to be with them the whole week. You get to do fun games, competitions. Everything was a competition down to cooking. Like it was just, it brought a lot of energies out.
Who was MVP?
MVP, you already know. I mean, I don't want to be prideful or anything.
Look,
Maggie
to my own horn, but toot, toot.
Maggie was only MVP when it comes to singing, but everything else.
Spells me like that. Listen, these people are the ones who made me know I want to learn how to do different things in life. I can't just discourage
That's when
you,
everybody's
but
strengths
you
and
learn.
weaknesses are
Yeah,
exposed
it
at
really-
camp.
Man, yes. Because they see they see you from the morning to the very
to the
end.
end.
Like
Wow.
to the snoring at night, like everything. So
Yeah, she
What?
is.
Who's the biggest
That's
snorer? Who snores the loudest?
Fifi,
oh, the worst.
Fifi and luckiest.
The worst.
Man, they're so.
What about who's the most quiet sleeper? Who's like, that person you just, are you here?
Raise your hand. I don't think you were the quiet sleeper.
Oh, Peter. Hey, Peter, whether he's asleep or not
Is that
asleep,
making a sound?
you never know if he's there.
Somebody check on him. Oh man, it seemed like you guys had an awesome time.
It was fun. We had a really good time at camp. And the thing is, a lot of it felt because we had youth conferences that were open to everybody, but youth camp for a while, like it was just us.
Yes.
Like it was exclusive. The people,
Family.
everyone else wanted to come, but it was like no, like this is where we're coming together. We're coming to revive our, like just get
Recharge.
excited and then and just get filled. Right, our pastors would come, our leaders would come, and then now by the time youth conference came, we were able to pour out to other people.
Oh, so you guys would do youth
camp was before. It was always before.
Oh, I like that.
So it was awesome. And it developed over time. Like the first one, I don't think Michelle was there for that one. Not the one that was in church.
The first one, there was a church one.
Yeah, there was a church one. We did it in church.
That was the first youth camp.
Ever.
Our first youth camp was at church.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was at church. And then the second one, that's the one that's like recognized. The second one, we were literally in an apartment. Like we We went to Lake Tahoe, Tahoe area. Yeah, we were in an apartment, and the owner was even like downstairs. But we shared like I think there was 2 or 3 bedrooms, and we split that up between us. So you can imagine like this big group of people in a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom apartment, and then just to see that transformation to now, like the youth literally go to a whole camping ground. So it's so cool to look through time
back
and see,
in the day and now,
like how we grew. Like we, and they say we came up, like
you
we
did
came up.
from apartments and church
to whole campsite.
I'm telling you, everybody got a bunk bed. Wow.
Yeah, I would second Maggie's thought. I think camp was also one of my favorite because we saw a lot of like spiritual development. I'm telling you, like when we came out of camp, like everybody was on fire for Jesus.
Fire for God, eh?
Yeah. So I don't know where like the devil came in after camp.
You gotta go to the mountains.
We tried to.
Even Jesus went to the mountains.
But let me
you
tell you,
gotta go.
by the time we come back, like people are like in deep.
Wow.
But also like one of my most fond memories of being part of Hepsiba was Bahamas. I had the most amazing time.
Wait, hold on. Let's get in that. You guys literally went to Bahamas. Do you realize people go there for honeymoon and big lottery winning vacations? You guys went to Bahamas like it's a Wednesday.
For a leadership retreat, yeah.
That is...
Yeah.
That's when you have a visionary for a leader.
Yeah. And he
where are we going next, guys?
And he would not sacrifice for any reason, whether it's financial reason, whether it's schedule, whatever. Whenever the Lord put something in his heart, like he went after it. And like we learned, like even in our lives, like when God has put something in your heart, like you go after it.
100%.
So credit to Philip.
Wow.
So we've done some pretty amazing stuff.
Wow. Hey, this Philip. Wow.
He's great.
Tell me about your least favorite. I know we always like the joyous moments, but let's be real. We're dealing with 10 years. We're dealing with multiple personalities and like organizing some amazing events. And even just amazing moments together. What were those moments where you're like, you know what, Jesus, if it was not for you, I would not be here? Like, what was that for you that like you kind of, it could not be your least favorite, but it was like your greatest like struggle dealing within the 10 years?
Yeah, I want to say like growing pains, like we're all teenagers, so we're all growing, we're all developing.
That middle age too.
Yeah, so like everyone was developing their own sense of like identity. And so it's like you would often like conflict with one another, and then we didn't know how to like process pain or process hurt. So I think I would say just growing pains, but I also like I can't necessarily call those like down moments because it's like all in all we still use that to become what we are today.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I would regret is that out of ignorance, we hurt some people like really bad when we were younger, and like we didn't like move forward together.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that I personally take to heart because it's like, okay, maybe if I had enough wisdom, I could have maybe stopped it. But hey, who knows? So I would say like those are some of the most challenging, things that I experienced.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about for you, Maggie?
I second a lot of what Masha said. As a teenager and as a teenage girl.
Right? Because
Can
the
we talk
experience
about
is
it?
different.
For guys.
Yeah. Sometimes guys are just, but
and
girls, you feel everything.
Everything. And then I'm so emotional. Like, I'm so sensitive. So I felt everything. Not only my pain, but other people's. So it was definitely difficult. Trying to grow up, trying to be around these people that you love, but also that just irk your nerves,
Telling you.
But at the end of the day, you love everybody and folks love you. But I'll say one of the least fond memories for me, aside from that, was just realizing from a young age that ministry is difficult. Ministry is difficult, and it can be very lonely.
Wow.
As a leader, especially, it can be very, very lonely. And so I think because at that age, you just want to serve God, right? You just want to serve God. You want to be around these people. You have conflict with people, but you're in church, and so you're associating all the chaos that's happening with people with your relationship with God, and you're just like, God, like, do you even care about me?
It's just a mixing pot.
It's a lot, and so I'll say that was difficult because you want to keep going because you know you're on fire again. You go to these moments of camp and conferences, and you're on fire for God. You're doing something that you love. Like I said, Philip poured into me. So of course he had me there doing, pushing me to do worship. But it's difficult at a young age. But thank God that, we have leaders and we have pastors who care for you and who will pour into you and remind you like this, at the end of the day, it is about your relationship with God. And so I'm glad that that's something that I learned along the way that didn't pull me out too soon. I had some moments where I had to tap out. I was like, Lord, this one is too much. But at the end of the day, I always knew, okay, this is for God. But I can't forget, the nights of crying, the nights of feeling like, man, like does this even matter?
Wow.
But then you go to things like camp, or you go to things like conferences, or even the Friday nights, and you see people's lives being changed.
So worth it, huh?
And you're like, all right, I'll cry some more tears for this.
Wow. So with that, you both kind of entered leadership at a very young age, right? Like, I mean, you're joining Hepsiba at 13. You're what, like 16?
Around? No, I was 15.
15. You guys are kind of like not thrown into leadership, but you were in leadership very young. So how did you guys balance that? Because I mean, even like Maggie, you just graduated college last year, right? You just graduated college a few years ago. I mean, myself, I've been to college. It's not an easy road. High school, middle school, all that. How were you guys finding balance with your life, with ministry? Because you guys seem like you eat, breathe, live Hepsiba. You know what I mean? Like, where did you guys find that balance with like your day-to-day life and with Hepsiba? How did you navigate that?
Funny enough, actually, it was very easy. It was easy because Philip modeled it well. And so it's like, it's the best way to teach someone is to model it. And so Philip was a great model on how he balanced ministry, how he balanced people, how he balanced family. And so we just had to look. If you missed it, it was on you. It wasn't because there wasn't an example to follow. So I would say it was easy. It was easy, although it was quite misunderstood because it was a new phenomenon in our Kenyan culture.
Right.
Because our parents want to like emphasize education above like your spiritual life, which I understand based on where they're coming from. But Philip kind of like turned it around. Is like focus on your spiritual life,
first.
but also do not leave education behind, because we want to do both of those, and that's why we can sit here and proudly say that we are college graduates and in pursuit of masters.
Okay.
Come on.
Yeah. So
come on.
It wasn't easy for me. I think I had I resonate with what he's saying. When he says you had a model, right? Philip was doing these things, but again, everyone has such different experiences, and everyone takes you can say something to the both of us, and we're both going to take it a different way, right? And so for me, I didn't balance it well, but at a point, like, my life was Hepsiba. So you can't ignore the fact that there was conflict when at home. I'm taking AP classes, which I don't like, but I'm thinking about college, right? So I'm taking AP classes. I'm making a B, which is an A, when it comes to AP. But I'm only making that because I don't like it. But now when you come home, it's like, it's because of Hepsiba. It's because of church. It's like, nah, I just don't like that class.
Oh,
so
my gosh.
it was difficult because I do take in like what people say, what's your parents think, like that. We can't ignore that is something that people do carry. But again, it was helpful to have a leader who where you could express that to him and be like, okay, like Philip was a type to at the end of the day, right, we're in church, we're doing this and that, but before you go home, okay, let's work on your homework.
Exactly.
Like,
like
it wasn't
like
just
pull it out.
Church. Like you guys had
Like if you expressed any, and not only if you expressed any, I think Philip was one of the few people, him and Macharia, who would like ask you like every area, right? Because for a lot of people, you have to go and be like, I'm really struggling with this. But for them, it's like you're driving home and it's like, okay, well, how's this area? How how's school? How's family? How's your relationship? relationship. Hey, you're at 14, 15.
I know.
Bad relationship, but it's like he cared holistically. Like, I still remember to this day on one of my emails, I have a folder that he, helped me set up that has all the different categories: finance, career, education, spiritual growth, like personal development, because he cared about that holistic aspect of things. So I think maybe that's one of the things I got because of the proximity, right? And I don't know if everyone got to experience that, and I don't think everyone gets to experience that, but I think it's important even for our young leaders coming in to keep in mind, like, even if someone's not pressing you about all the different areas of your life, make sure you're thinking about your life holistically,
right?
But at the simultaneously keeping your spiritual growth at the center of that, because I'll say that is what has propelled us forward. Keeping that at the center, but acknowledging every area.
Wow, so Philip was keeping you guys in check. Let me see
Yeah,
them
no,
DFs over here.
Yeah, and then like our parents would threaten us, like, "Oh, I'm gonna call Philip."
Yeah,
like, and it's not like we weren't.
and like no youth camp for you.
we weren't like scared of Philip, but we honored him so much that we didn't want to disappoint him.
Aww.
Yeah. So it was a good mix, and I'm glad like we did the school thing, because there's always this tendency of like believers are perceived to be stupid because they never like pursue education. It's like, yo, try and come for me.
We just speak in tongues.
Yeah, like
that's all we know.
Yeah.
No one can tell me that you can't do ministry and pursue the things in your life, because when you're focused on God, like, all those other things come. That matter of fact, see, isn't that the scripture? He continually had us, Matthew 6:33, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these other things will be added to you. That I associate that verse with Philip, like, consistently poured that to us. So
wow, this Philip, bless him, Jesus, bless Philip. Wow. So one thing, looking into Hepsiba, you can tell how close, you're just like a close-knit family. And I mean, clearly for you guys to be where you are in 10 years, that's something you built. Can you guys share some practical ways that you guys built that? Because maybe some other youth groups or young people, or just somebody that looks at you and you're like, wow, they're so tight. Like you're a sibling, but you're not a sibling. This is I really did choose my family. You know when they say you can't pick your family? Like, you guys really give us some tips, some ways that you guys went about that to like create the bond that you guys have today.
Time.
Yeah.
Quality time was super big. We spent a lot of time together.
Yeah.
So yes, while that does allow for room to have a lot of conflict, it also leaves a lot of room to really get to know one another, to learn each other's personalities, each other's love languages, to figure out how you can care for someone. Wow. Because it's difficult. If I don't see you or talk to you for 3 weeks, you could have been in the hospital. You could have been failing all your classes. Anything could have happened in that time because I didn't spend any time talking to you or spending any physical time with you. And so I think that's one thing, like, every Friday it was consistent. You were here. This was the place to be. You didn't need to go to a club. You didn't need to go to a party. You came here to come, fellowship with people who maybe not everyone cared about you, but somebody there cared about you, your well-being, was wanting to learn more about you, and so just spending a lot of quality time together and figuring out how to love each other well.
Wow. That is so beautiful, because it's just beautiful, guys. That's what it is. That's the best word I could use.
It's true. Philip, you're gonna hear Philip a lot.
This Philip of ours.
Philip kept saying, kept enunciating and pronouncing this statement, or rather preaching this statement. Whatever you celebrate increases in value.
That's right.
Whatever you do not celebrate,
I even say that.
decreases in value.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we're very intentional on is like celebrating one another's birthdays. Just coming together and speaking life.
We love a good party.
Over people. So I think, but again, what Maggie said, it takes time, right? So like if we could calculate how much hours we spent together. You lose track. But during all that we were bonded, because in that close proximity there was connection, there was conflict, and then there was confrontation. And it all wrapped together just made such a beautiful thing, because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, like, I know Maggie is my sister,
right?
And so it's like
destiny.
So it's like we would argue, and then like when we're done, it's like, all right, Maggie, let's go. I'm taking you home.
You need ice cream, Maggie.
No, and then like
to soften up the mood.
and then on the way she's like, and I'm hungry, by the way.
And I'm feeling steak today.
You know, so
That's funny.
yeah, and then also like as we grew older, we kind of like started like, you know what, like
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I won't be buying you McDonald's anymore because it's not healthy anymore.
Yeah.
So like we stepped up again
Go
financially.
big guy. I like that.
Yeah.
You learn like
Wow.
I think like these are some of the people who really teach you like how you need to be treated. So if they take someone like Philip or Masha takes you out for a nice dinner or a nice lunch, and then someone else wants to come buy me like French fries.
The standard
My
is high,
friend,
brother.
I already know a better way to be treated, so I'm
Come
not settling for less
on.
than that.
Let's talk about that. You guys are in your early teens. I mean, your youth group is filled with very young people. And I mean, everybody's dabbling into relationships. I mean, for real, like this is when most of us are like starting to, oh my gosh, I have a crush on this person, or you have these crazy feelings that you can't tell your parents for the most of us, right? I mean, if you can, God bless you. But most of us couldn't. How did you guys handle that? Because since you're so close, I mean, that's something you could pick up on, you know what I mean? How were you guys handling relationships and things and having a 13-year-old tell you I have a crush on a boy at school? Like, what do you even say?
Well, I want to say my sister was more bold about her expressions of life. But I don't know. I think Philip was super tough on the guys.
On the guys?
Yeah, on the guys. So
It's
one
always
of
the guys,
One of
yeah.
the things that he kept preaching is character. Character. To the point where there was a season like that was a song. It's like, what are you doing? I'm working on character. Yeah, so like not everyone doubled in that because you understood it's like, hey, like you need to establish yourself in your character.
Yeah.
And then but also feelings came on the way. We tried trying to make it work. for
They
some
say
reason.
Adole.
Yeah, it's
Adole took over.
it didn't work very well because they were just infatuations. Yeah.
Actually, I remember the first year we came here for youth conference.
Oh my goodness.
Masha was driving us home, and we asked. I was bold. I asked him, "So do you have a girlfriend?" Because I was just that way. And he's like, "Actually, my youth leader told me." Oh no, he said my mentor told me there's no point of having a girlfriend because right now I need to focus on my vision or something. And we thought you were so weird. We're like, "What do you mean? How old were you?" How old were you, minister? I mean, like
probably
for
17 or 18.
for a 17-year-old boy to tell you that we thought that was strange, but like we now see like the fruits of why you did that. You know what I mean? Yeah, Maggie, feel free to jump on there.
How much time do we have? Because, girl, I got stories. We're not going to get too deep into them. I will say, if I'm being fully transparent, just because I know the younger people are going to be watching this, right? It's important to note that, again, some of us had very different experiences. I heard a lot of the character. But then you go home and you're hearing emotions, feelings.
It's the girls.
Someone's telling you you're beautiful. They want to give you the world. I'm 15 years old.
They tell you have good character.
Oh, he's working out his character. He wants to give me the world. Like, I'm jumping at the opportunity.
Wow.
So I will say, like, for me, I did struggle with that. One, because I had a very low self-esteem, right? I do want to be like authentic because I want this to free people,
yes.
right? I had a low self-esteem, and so if a guy approached me and was like, "Wow, like you're so beautiful, you're this and
Butterflies.
that," I'm like,
Girls.
But so it caused a lot of conflict, both with guys, with girls. We're a small group, so there's only so many people to go around.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know who told me one time, like, "Oh, you guys just recycle each other." I was like, "What?"
You were picking from a good pot, though.
Yeah,
Maggie. Don't worry.
absolutely.
The pot was good.
It was great, yeah. But I think, again, coming back to thank God for certain leaderships, because I
Wow.
didn't. I always kind of shared at the end, like when things were already in conflict. But thank God for my brother, for my leader,
Wow.
Philip, who would
Wow.
always cover me, right? And talk me through certain situations and help me when things were kind of already a mess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as a young girl in a small group like this, it was difficult to navigate that. And then we didn't always have a female model. We didn't always have a female model to look up to. And so, you know, sometimes you could feel like, okay, like, yeah, Philip is telling that, but he's telling that to the guys. He understands them. He doesn't
From the boy
understand
perspective,
us. Like, you don't understand my emotions. You don't
all
understand my
these
feelings.
Philip.
Like, you don't get it. You're not a girl. You know, because at that age, you don't realize guys have their feelings too, and they have their things that they go through. But I think we just thank God because nothing too crazy ever happened. But there was a lot of things that we did have to work through, different conflicts, different types of drama, and I know that's experienced in and out of the church. But I'm also grateful that we're kind of like in a controlled environment to where it's like, I knew if I did something at the end of the day, it was going to get back to Philip.
Accountability.
And I don't know, how he always found out. Like, I don't.
It was
I
a
don't
spirit,
get it.
girl.
Like, so I always knew, okay, like I could only go so far because at the end of the day, somebody who loves me is gonna come check me and let me know, like, sis, like slow your roll, right? So that was important. And him and my dad, they were very protective over me. So, you know,
let's actually talk about that. I think you guys have a really, really interesting bond. Can we dig on that? And I know you guys were talking a lot about how you spend time with each other. How were you guys able to develop that? Like, you're like, this is my sister. Like, you guys don't look alike. You guys don't sound alike. You're very different, but you guys have that crazy, like, close, tight-knit bond, you know? How were you guys able to build that in your experiences together in Hepsiba?
I think it was vision. Philip just had us focused on, like, vision what Hepsiba was, and so we loved Philip, number one, and we believed in Philip.
Yeah.
So whatever it is that he had in his heart, we believed that was what was in God's heart. So it was like, wow, it's our pleasure to execute what's in God's heart. So I think during those times is when we really created that bond. And then Philip was also like mentoring the two of us to like take over Hepsiba. So because that was the plan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you now. Wow.
Yeah. So you know, unfortunately for Maggie, she didn't necessarily have like a lady Philip. So Philip was super duper strict on me because it's like he just didn't want me to like fail.
Yeah.
And so I mean, also with Maggie, but also like, you know, I guess now, like, knowing she's of a different gender, you have to be very careful, very specific on how you do things. But yeah, so during that time, like, we just came close together. We were bonded, and also another reason why I was super protective over her is because, like, most people would like overlook her and like wouldn't see her potential and like her talents or acknowledge her. And also a lot of people, like, the older girls who were not choosing to submit would despise her. And so I think, you know, maybe those were the wrong reasons why God brought us together. But in one or another, we just came together.
No, it was needed. Look where you guys are now. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Ministers.
You
Wow.
want to add anything to that?
I'll say two things. So one thing is that because like he said, we were focused on vision. It was nice because with all these other people, you're talking about pointless things sometimes at the end of the day, right? Like you're just focused on just really pointless things. But then you come into a space, you're talking to someone who's asking about your life, but really asking about your growth, really like worried about your growth, caring for, like your wellness and your well-being, right? Your vision, like what have you done today to execute your vision? Like, are you focused on your music? Like
how many songs have you written?
No, he really, like, sometimes I'd be like, okay, I need to write, because my stuff's gonna ask me, you know? Someone who like keeps you accountable. And so that was always really, it was just refreshing because it was different. And so I appreciated that. Thanks, bro. And then at the end of the day, the second thing I'll say is at the end of the day, like, I knew he had my back. I knew he meant well.
Oh, wow.
So even if he came at me incorrect, you know, said things that very intensely, like, I knew it was because he wanted what's best for me without any like any ulterior motive. So that was That was nice.
Wow.
Oh, another thing, like there was always like this narrative that like seemed like we were very like controlling or very commanding, but like when you see our meetings and how much like we've planned and like we just want to execute to the best of our ability,
Right.
Like when it came to like execution, there was no plan. Like
Yeah.
it is game on.
Yeah.
So it's like, Maggie, you need to be on stage. Like I don't care whether you're serving food. Like be on stage.
They'll serve themselves.
Yeah. So we were very like intense, and so but
Wow.
I think that close proximity like allowed us permission to be able to
Do that, right?
yeah, to do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. So, Maggie, as we transition, so Maggie, you came in this youth group, 12, 13, built all this amazing relationships, super tight, relationships till today. And then you had to now go to college, right? And you being the main girl leader, you now had to kind of pass the baton on to somebody else. And you chose Lillian, who is now the Hepsiba leader. So we want to know, how did you choose Lillian? Like, tell us that process. Like, how did you choose Lillian? Why did you choose Lillian? Like, how? We just want to know the whole story.
The whole story. First of all, I made a good decision, huh?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Shout out to Lillian.
That was from heaven above.
For me, I'll say, okay, I have a way of seeing the people who aren't really seen, right? And Lillian, she came in, she's not the person that she was when she first came here,
Yeah.
right? She was so quiet. She didn't really talk to anyone. She didn't really stay in the mix like that. But I had the opportunity to spend a few times with her, pick her up every now and then. I think there's something about those car drives. There's something about those drives, even though they were short.
You're welcome.
I know. Him. They used to pick me up at 4 a.m. to come and pray at 6 a.m. on like every weekend for a good couple of months. So thank you, Philip and Mashad, because that was crazy. But so we had a few opportunities, even as we were driving, or when I see quiet people, I like to try to kind of poke at them. I want to know what's on your mind. Yeah. And what I just saw was just so much humility. I saw a lot of understanding, a lot of wisdom. And mind you, she was very young at this age. So I think I was 18, around like 17 when I started spending time with her. So she was maybe like 14 at the time, 13, 14.
Wow.
So it's me, but a totally different type of me, right? I could see I could see her heart, I could see her emotion, I could see like the love that she had for people, but not only people. I remember I don't remember everything about that conversation, but I remember like taking her home one day and just asking her like, what has your experience been so far? And the way she just started talking about Hepsiba was so much honor, so much like she had so much value for it. I knew that she understood like the value in this group, the value in this ministry, and that she wanted to nurture that. She wanted to care for that, and she may not have known how at the time, but she knew like the importance of it, what it was doing for her life, and wanted to do that for other people's lives. Wow. And so even though like I don't think people expected me to do that, because I hung out with her and one other person a lot at the time, and I think I spent a lot more time with the other person, so it seemed like I think a lot of people thought that's the direction I was gonna go. But once I saw her heart, first of all, and then her heart for Hepsiba, I was like, it's a done deal. I know she's quiet, I don't care. I know she's overlooked, I don't care. Like this is the one. And so I don't even think I asked her. Like I don't even think I asked her.
You're like, yep. It's you.
Yeah. So I just, her heart was just beautiful. And I think like I had seen, having been here for so many years, I had seen a lot of different people come in and out of this space. And you don't always know what's in someone's heart, but you do by the way that they speak, right? The things the way that they speak, the things that they do, like you can tell. And so for her, I was like, man, like people don't realize like this is a gold mine. Like she's a gold mine. Wow. And I just wanted that. I wanted to leave someone because Hepsiba was like my baby, right? Like I know Philip and Sarah started, but like I poured a lot into this place, and I didn't want to just let it go down anyhow, right?
Wow.
And so I was like, I have to leave it to someone where my heart feels settled and my spirit feels settled. And
Wow.
so she was the pick.
So when you see Lillian today leading, being the youth leader, like, what do you see? Like, what's your message to Lillian right now? Like, what you've seen the last few years she's been the leader?
Yeah. So one thing I'll say, again, being fully transparent, is I can't even take credit for like any of that, right? Because something that I did that Philip did not teach me to do was to drop the ball, right?
Wow.
And so something as leaders that are coming in and out of this space, it's so important to mentor somebody so that when you you leave a space, right, you're not just leaving it anyhow.
Right.
And so I appointed her, but because I was experiencing so much and I was ready for that next phase of my life, I was just like, man, it's in good hands, whatever, right? Not whatever, but it's in good hands. There's only so much I feel like
You're
I can
at
do now.
peace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was at peace with her,
Yeah.
like with leaving her in that place. And I can't really say like I continued to stick around and like nurture her leadership, because at that point she wasn't a leader by title, but and she hadn't really been in the role. She was always there. Like when I was still in leadership, she was always there when you needed something, when something needed to be done, doing the things that nobody wanted to do, that nobody would see. Like she was always there for that. So I was like, okay, I know she's in good hands, but I can't really say like I helped her develop into the leader that she was.
Wow.
Masha, Philip, like they're the ones who stuck around and did that. But for me, like when I came back and I was like, wow, like she was God's pick. She was God's pick for sure. And I'm glad. And it's just one of those things that made me realize it doesn't, when it comes to ministering the things of the kingdom, like it doesn't matter what you choose to do. Like God is always going to have his way. And sometimes he'll move you out of the way.
Right.
And as long as that's the person he had in mind, he's going to make sure they develop into the person they need to be. So me, when I look at her, I try to tell her as often as I can, like, I'm just so proud. My hands were off, but God's hand was on her.
It was on her.
And she's on fire. Like, I don't know if you know how often you watch, but that girl is on. Sometimes I have to go back and look at services where she's leading the service. Just to see, like, what? And she's so, like, she wears her heart on a sleeve as well, right? And so she's not afraid to come up on this altar and cry for the people and cry, like cry for the young generation.
Right.
And for me, it just blows my mind. Like,
wow.
It's wild. So,
Oh my God.
and then I know because of the things that where I fell short and she saw me fall short, I'm like assured that she's not gonna do that with the next generation,
right?
Because she experienced that, and so I'm very hopeful even for the upcoming and rising leaders.
That's so. That's just so that's so good to hear. Let's just say it that way. Oh man. You know what? I want to go, but I also get emotional. So, Minister Macharia, let's get into you. So, one of the funniest thing about Masha, since we met him, really anyone, you have very bizarre rules that you used to have, and I think it's really important because I think it was a big part of Hepsiba, especially for outsiders coming in. It was not normal to us. So I remember, apart from the story I just shared about in the car, you had these rules like if somebody's in the car with you, they can't have their headphones in. You really enjoy talking, so you would talk, and you still enjoy talking, yeah. I mean, that is the God-given gift that you have. That's for sure. Why did you have these strange rules, quote unquote strange?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's strange, but I think there was people are lacking the ability to be able to connect with real people. And one of the things that I kept telling them is like, if anything is to happen to you right now, the person that you're texting cannot save you.
Right.
I can. And so, but if you don't acknowledge me, I won't be able to serve you well. And so one of the things that I made a rule, and it's still like a rule to this day. When you enter my car, I don't care who you are. Like, you're not having your headphones on or anything like that. We're going to interact. And it's everybody, not just like one person.
Yeah.
And no, it's everybody. We're going to connect. Yeah, we're going to share. Because I think people also don't have those opportunities.
Right.
And so, like, I ask very intriguing questions that the parents won't ask, their friends won't ask. I'm very bold about it. And it's made some significant like changes that I can't even tell you. Most of the people that we connected and we grew close is because of car rides.
Wow.
And yeah, even if I can actually bring them up, they're saying like a lot of healing that God used me to bring to like the body of Christ was through those car rides. Like it's 15 minutes, but by the time we get there, you have shared your heart. We have prayed. I've given you counsel if I do have one.
Yeah.
And like we're moving forward with your life. So for what it's worth, I will never change that rule. Even my kids.
Yeah.
Like I hope I can like, make that a cult or something, and just have them carry that out.
No, it's good because you see when we enter the cars, like it's like a norm, and you know what I mean. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When we first came, we thought it was strange, but I see now the effects of like the good that came from that. So, wow. One thing I did want to ask you, how because you guys were dealing with a lot of young people, how were you guys able to handle, this is kind of my second to last question, how were you guys' relationship with their parents? Because I mean, if you're dealing with a 13, 14, 15, even 17-year-old that has to come home and answer to mom and dad, and you guys want to go down to Los Angeles, you know what I mean, or you're at church till 2 a.m, how were you guys able to navigate your relationship with the parents from the leadership perspective? How was that?
I mean, I want to say a lot of things. Again, it was just based on model Philip. Philip, everything was done. He always says that the only the only lasting quality is truth. So build on it. And so what we would do is like honor was a big deal.
Yeah.
When parents came, like we tried to honor them as much as we could, and sometimes it was hard to do so. But I think honor was just the only way out. So did we do it well? At times, no, because honor is defined by the person that you're honoring.
Right.
Right. So if you don't understand what's honor to them, there's a high chance that you'll dishonor them unintentionally. So I want to say like honor was a big language that Philip taught us, like find out what's important to them and what they need, and let's learn how to be able to serve them and come together in partnership. For the most part, it was really challenging because most of the parents never saw the vision.
Yeah.
Again, parents were comfortable paying for their kids to go to like sports in school and whatnot. But like when we said like it's camp, like parents come and tell you like they don't have money, and you're running like a really low budget camp. Like you've already sacrificed to like reduce the price.
That's
so
tough.
that was like really the hard part, because for me it was easy for me to lose respect for them. Because it's like you value other things, but you don't put you don't put your money where your mouth is. But one of the things that Philip really checked me is like still honor them.
Right.
And even in that season, Philip taught us how to pay the price.
Right.
Even when the parents were not willing to pay the price.
Wow.
So majority of the kids who went to camp, like if we had to do double shifts and extra shifts for them to be able to come to camp, and they'll probably will never know, they probably will never appreciate. But I believe like the seeds that were sown in camp, it's something that we're gonna like live forever to testify.
That's true.
So I think honor was the only way out, because it was challenging most of the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll say it was uncomfortable for me to communicate with parents. These guys saved me so much. So Hepsiba
we
supposed
coming
to be from this time to this time. But when you start to go past curfew, because some of these people did not have curfew, but when I was getting past curfew, wow, I think I would just cry to these guys like, please come talk to my mom. Like, as long as they were there, I knew I wouldn't get in trouble. So
I love that. Just you ask.
Yeah,
you ask.
No,
If
literally. Sometimes you have to call her yourself, and like they just know how to cozy up. To hi, mom.
Like, mom.
Hi, not even Mama Maggie. Hi, mom.
How's the Lord doing? I have a word for you.
But they really like show me like it's important to build a relationship with them, even if you're not always going to be there talking to them. So mind you, I was a kid at the time, so they were the ones who were coming to have to deal with my parents. And so that was, I will never forget those moments. He says it just because I wanted them around, but I just didn't want to get in trouble.
No, Maggie.
No, you saved some good punishment.
I know my sister has a strong weakness. Do you mind if I share it?
Go.
Dishes.
Oh,
it's just a weakness. You know what I'm saying?
If you love dishes, Honestly, if you love doing dishes,
So would come through for the sister, you
Oh my
know.
gosh.
Would come and we would make sure that that department is well catered for before we depart. You know, so that we can live our sister in perfect peace.
amen.
Yeah.
Shalom.
That is actually very. He's saying it as a joke, but that's very for real. Like I never even used to like doing this. I never used to like cleaning or doing anything, but they modeled it. They came and come on, let's do dishes together. Not hey, go do the dishes before we leave so your mom will be happy. No, come on, and making. And there's times where I would do it, myself would be like, no, do it again.
Wow.
Like really like teaching you how important it is not only to take care of like the home, but to make sure that, because it wasn't just about making the parents happy, right? It taught me those are things that I should be able to do, that I should care for. It should not just be my parents. And then realizing like just them telling me like your mom's not upset because, you know, you're going to church is because you're not caring for the things of the home. You're not, you know, like it seems like you're ungrateful, you know, or it seems like you don't care that, you know, they're even providing these dishes. The least you can do is clean right? That's showing honor. It's not always these grand gestures.
Right.
So that was always super major. Yeah. So I don't mind cleaning now, and I actually enjoy dishes.
She does. She does an amazing job. Actually, you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I remember
Letting me
like
know.
when you're in college, she made me like one of the most like bomb meals like I've had in a long time. The curry chicken, because she used to also hate cooking, but now she throws it down like it's nobody's
telling you,
business.
the
So it's pretty
kitchen.
awesome.
Period. Let them know. So that was we're pretty live. Oh my goodness. What was I even gonna say? Let's just move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's finish up with this question. So now you guys are have transitioned up from Hepsiba. What would you? Okay, what is your message to the Hepsiba generation today? In just 30 seconds, each of you, what is the message you want to leave the generation now and in the future, from coming here from the origin of Hepsiba to now 10 years? What's your message to Hepsiba class of, 20 years and 30 years and 50 years? What's your message to them?
My message to them would be enjoy every moment. Enjoy every moment, even if it's not. And I know this is one of those things, it's like, yeah, you got to get older to get it. You probably will have to get older to get it. Yeah. But soak in, enjoy every moment. Have fun. Like, if people are traveling and you're available to go, like, go. Like, regardless of how you feel, because those are the things that have bonded us.
Yeah.
Like we can talk. Right now, me and Maggie have stories on stories on stories from like McChickens, from like rides, from like little seas. Like, it's just amazing experiences that we can never take for granted. So if you have an opportunity to serve and have fun, it's worth it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I would say a few things. Your relationship with God is number one. First and foremost, do not ever let your sight get off of that, right? And then don't take for granted the people and the experiences that God is putting in your life, even from such a young age. Yeah. And also, don't take things too seriously. Some of these things that are seem like such a huge deal now, you'll look back and be like, wow, that was not worth losing a relationship, or that was not worth going to church for, or that was not worth leaving ministry for, right? Yeah. Like, just keep, some of these things will not seem that huge of a mountain later. So just enjoy everything that God is allowing you to experience in this moment.
Wow, that's amazing. Oh my God, I'm so proud of you guys. 10 years, veterans. That's really what we should just brand you guys from now on.
And then one of the things that I can tell Hepsiba now is like, Maggie has a lot of money, so ask her for money.
Finance will never be a struggle. Amen.
Finance will no longer be a struggle.
Amen.
Because we got it.
We got college graduates and entrepreneurs. Oh man!
Thank you
so guys
much
so much
to our lovely host for pulling these memories out of us. It's so good to remember.
It's just so wonderful to sit here and just listen to you guys talk about 10 years. That's a lot. Man, so thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for tuning in. Continue to like our channel, share, and subscribe for more. God bless you.